Willkommen. I'm Werner, and you found yourself at Werner's Whirligigs. This machine, this Smithy CB1220XL, is for sale. This has been the subject of 9 videos over the past 3 or so months, where we took this machine from a non-running machine and got it back on the road. I love this machine. Unfortunately, I don't have the room for it. I already have a full-size lathe and an e-mill, and I just don't have any reason to keep this machine in my shop. So I'd like it to go to a good home, and I hope that might be you. I'm including a bunch of stuff with this lathe so that it will be as turnkey as possible, and I hope either perhaps a new hobbyist or maybe somebody who's already practiced in this space will recognize the value in having all this extra tooling available. You should be able to buy this machine, take it home, set it up, and start working the same day. Now, if you want to skip all the chatty chat that I'm going to do here describing what comes with the machine, you can look in the description down below, and there's a link to the Craigslist ad, and it will also lay out all the things that are included as well as the price. I'm not putting a price here on the video because that could change depending on how much interest I get. I don't think it's going up, but it might come down. So anyway, this video is just meant to familiarize you as a potential buyer with this machine. Let's just walk through the real basics of this lathe mill drill combo. It uses Morse tapers. It's got a Morse taper number 4 in the lathe spindle in the center of here, back behind the chuck, and then MT3 in the tailstock and MT3 up in the mill. It has a powered lead screw that's powered by the lathe. Everything turns very smoothly. This handle, the tailstock, the cross slide, and even the compound. None of those are powered except for the lead screw. The mill head also has two manual components. You can either operate it like a drill press, or you push in this knob, and then you can more precisely adjust the height of the cutting tip. Regarding the powered functions, we have an on switch, an off switch, and a forward and reverse switch. These all just control the motor, but the motor powers the lathe and the mill. So once you hit this green button, the motor is on and things are turning. So be aware of that. Always can hit the off switch if you need to, and always keep track whether you want the motor to be in forward or reverse, and that's going to be a function of how you're cutting and what you're cutting. So let's turn on the motor here. That's forward. The lathe is turning, the chuck is turning counterclockwise, which is the normal direction for cutting. We'll put it into reverse. It's now turning counterclockwise. That's the opposite with the mill. Just remember this for when you start using this. This needs to turn this way, which is reverse, whereas this needs to turn in the forward direction in order to facilitate cutting in a normal situation. To use the power feed, we have several controls. We use this knob and this knob. This knob simply engages the power feed to the transmission, where this one adjusts the speed. So right now it's in neutral. As I go to engage it here, nothing happens. However, if I put it in low, and then engage this, you can see now that this is moving and it's in reverse. I'll put it back and forward. Now, keep an eye on this, and just note how much faster it will be spinning when I put it up into the high range. So again, this is going to be coming this way. It's twice the speed. And we'll back it up again. when you go to use the mill and power up the mill instead of the lathe, and these two things run separately, as I'll show you in a little bit later, we need to move a lever here or a collar in the transmission. So now I have it set up so that the mill is set up, ready to spin, and if we turn it on, reverse it. If you want to spin the mill head out of the way, we can do that. You just release this lever here, which clamps the mill head onto this post, and you can spin it away so it's out of your way while you're working on the lathe. Also, you have the ability to raise and lower the mill head additionally. So if you're working on a really tall piece and you can't get this extracted up anymore, this collar, I think this will go up almost 3 inches. So anyways, this is available to you should you need to use it. Now we're in the gearbox of the machine. We've got speeds of the mill spindle and the lathe spindle are controlled by three pulleys and belts, depending on in which positions the belts are located. You use belt from here to here and then a second from here to here to get the lower speeds, and the high speeds come from connecting this longer belt down here straight between this pulley and this pulley. And you can get up to 1600 RPMs on both the lathe and the mill via combinations. These gears over here are for cutting threads and also just for the power feed on the lead screw. So there's 4 gears here that can be changed, and depending on what combination of gears you put on there, it controls the speed at which the lead screw will turn per rotation of the lathe chuck. And you can do metric threads anywhere from 0.075 up to 3 millimeters, and you can do SAE or inch threads anywhere from 11 to 40 threads per inch, depending on what combination you put. And this machine comes with all of the different gears you need to do all of the combinations for threading. Then finally there's this collar up here. This is for switching power between the lathe and the mill. So all the way in, power goes up to the mill. In the middle position it's neutral, no power going through, and when you pull it out, the machine's now sending power to the lathe. In addition to the speed control made available in the gearbox, the mill head also has a belt up top, and there's 2 pairs of pulley sheaves so you can change the speed even more. And if you look here on the side of the machine right here, you'll see that there's a diagram that shows you how to reach all the different speeds on the mill. And now let's just look at the motor for a moment. This is a 3/4 horsepower motor that came originally with the machine, and you have this handle here which allows you to move it back and forth, and that takes off and adds tension to the belt so that you can change the belts in the gearbox here. And there's also a finer adjustment knob here if you want to put more or less final tension on the belts. And this thing spins at, I believe it's around 1800 RPM, a little bit less. The machine, it comes on top of a shop-made aluminum tray for catching shavings, and this is sitting right now on top of a workbench which has 4 drawers which are full of tooling, and it sits on a cart so you can wheel this thing around. Now, I did not fasten or bolt down the machine to the bench because I wasn't sure what somebody would want. So we have a 3-jaw chuck on the machine, a 4-jaw chuck sitting over here, a faceplate, a nice little ball oiler with a small hole, small enough to get some of the smaller ball oilers on this machine. And we have a lathe chuck key and a drill chuck key as well. Beginning in the top drawer, we have right here 4 MT3 circular tool holders in sizes 1/4, 1/2, 5/8, and 3/4. Then we have an MT4 dead center, which goes in the lathe spindle. And then we have an MT3 dead center, which will go in the tailstock or in the mill spindle, should you find a reason for that. We've got a drill chuck, MT3, which will go again in the lathe, in the tailstock or up in the mill spindle. And I'm including some center drills here, 3 center drills. These are all Morris taper drifts. You use these things to try to release a Morris taper shank from the holder. Over here we've got a bunch of brazed carbide and also high-speed steel cutters, which you can grind to your own needs. We've got 3 fly cutters here that are as a kit, and it also has some wrenches. We have a boring head. These are always handy for making holes of abnormal size, and again an MT3 shank. We've got an indexable face mill. Excuse me, takes inserts. Got a bunch of shims here for lining up your tool holder or your tool in the tool posts to make sure that it's at the right height compared to the spinning spindle. And just a brush and a scraper. This is a cut-off tool or parting off tool, and it also comes with an extra blade. And finally we have 3 collets, MT3 collets, and they are 1/4, 3/8, and 1/2 inch. Here in the second drawer we have a couple of vices. This is a machinist vise, and it's 4 inches, and it will rotate on a 360 degree turntable. And then this is another tilting vise, so you can change the plane that you're cutting in. We have 2 import dial indicators. We've got a set of 9 end mills with sizes from 1/8 up to 3/8, and there's 9 of them. And then we also have 9 boring bars. They're carbide brazed boring bars. Most of them haven't been used. There's one here, I can see it has a chip on it, but you could grind that out. Let's see what's next. We have a couple of engineer squares or machinist squares here, a 6-inch and a 4-inch. I think the 4-inch may have been taken out of the packaging once. The 6-inch never has. Pair of V blocks here, Smithy V blocks, and clamps on top. And then here are a complete set of gears for changing the threading pitch on this machine. So you can thread just about any SAE or metric thread pitch that you will desire with this set of gears, and it's complete. In the third drawer we have some goodies. This is a complete ER40 collet set, and it goes from 1/8 all the way up to 1 inch. I think this would be the 1 inch. And the MT3 shank, and one of the collets is actually mounted up in the millhead spindle right now, and it also comes with a wrench for changing these out. That's really nice to have, especially on a machine like this, because you can clamp onto a bunch of different size tools very easily with ER40 collets. I really like them. And we also have here a live center, and this live center comes with a bunch of different tips. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different tips that you can use, and also an extraction tool. So this is really nice. I believe it's made by Smithy as well. And finally, in the fourth and bottom drawer, we have a steady rest and a follower rest specifically for this machine, painted in the same colors. We have 3 extra jaws here for the 3-jaw chuck, They may also work on the 4-jaw chuck, I'm not sure, but there's only 3 of them. Some miscellaneous hardware, and then a good clamping kit. This thing has a bunch of different clamping tools and a bunch of studs, and then we have some T-nuts and washers and different nuts for helping you fixture parts onto the table for when you're milling. Well, that'll wrap it up here. Remember, if you didn't come to this video via the link from the Los Angeles Craigslist, then look in the description below. There is a link back to Craigslist in Los Angeles where the item is for sale, and you can contact me. If that link is no longer in the description below, then the machine is no longer for sale. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to check it out. Like I said, if you're interested, if you have questions, follow the link to Craigslist and get in touch. I'll be happy to respond to any comments, questions, or have you come over and take a look at it in person.